Ooh, they're going to exile those from the graveyard with the thing on the stack, which I think prevents the Myrkul ability. Ooh, that's spicy. That is spicy.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out this interesting combat aristocrats build featuring Sengir the Dark Baron and Bruse Tarl. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, there's two great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Combat Aristocrats today. We've got Sengir the Dark Baron, a card that I haven't played and really haven't seen much of since Commander Legends came out, and Bruse Tarl, who I have seen a lot of. This is going to be a Mardu Aristocrats combat deck. Should be pretty exciting. Today's deck list comes to us from Mango, who is in the game with us today. Anyway, we have a super risky hand right here, and I think I'm going to keep it because we can go this thing and then Skull Clamp it. I'm just kind of curious to see where that goes, even though it might backfire horribly. A second land would be super awesome, so we can do the Skull Clamp all in one shot, but yeah, I don't know why. Something about this this line of play calls to me, because the rest of our hand does have a lot of gas in it, so I like that. If we can Skull Clamp our way into the couple lands we need to kind of get ourselves going, then I'll feel really good about things. So we'll see if we get lucky today. Maybe we won't. D-Spark is not what we were looking for. We're going to play this thing. Unfortunately, we'll come in tapped. You know, if I had thought about that more extensively, that may have changed my decision here, but I guess we still have one more chance to catch a land. There are 35 lands in the deck, not including dual face cards. I don't know how many Mango has of those in here. Perhaps 0. Oh, I forgot to take out Skyclave Relic. Skyclave Relic currently bugged on Magic Online. Not great. Maybe 0 flip lands. So, yeah, 35's a teeny bit greedy. Even more so in Magic Online. Anyway, let's take a read of our commanders. Sengir the Dark Baron, 6 mana for a 4/4 flying. Whenever another creature dies, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another player loses the game, you gain life equal to that player's life total as the turn began. Very interesting, but just haven't seen it much. And like, I get it, like a player losing the game is like, yeah, it'll happen eventually, but that's not something you can exactly trigger when you want to for most of the game. Like, sure, as you get later into the game, you might have a big play that'll allow you to take down a player, but like if you need to trigger that early, like that's a pretty tall order. So I can definitely see that being awkward, but yeah, I'm surprised I just didn't see more of this when Commander Legends came out, because I was a big fan of Sengir Vampire way back in the day, and I played Baron Sengir, and it was a cool card. Maybe not like the strongest card ever, but it was sort of powerful in the sense that like it was a big flyer that had okay abilities, and it didn't have any drawbacks on it, because like big creatures back then, especially big flyers like Lord of the Pit is the classic example, they all had like huge drawbacks on them, and a lot of those were pretty painful. So the fact that that one was just like a lot of mana and like didn't actively hurt you made it better than a lot of other things, at least in like the casual sense. Mango asking, did I keep a one-lander? Yep, yes I did. Boy, would that second land be awesome. And then after that, we get Skull Clamp into the thing, then we're into Night's Whisper. Actually, we could probably go Night's, well, Bojuka Bog. The super awkward early game Bojuka Bog, targeting Mango, gets no value. For Ashnod Flesh Myrkinist, oh yeah, we're gonna have to read that one. We'll come back to that in a minute. Screw it, we'll do it now. So that's Flintlock in the middle, piloting Ashnod Flesh Myrkinist, and it is a 1 mana 1/1 Death Touch. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, create a tapped Power Stone token. Pay 5, exile a creature card from your zombie, create a tapped 3/3 colorless zombie artifact creature token. Oh, that's interesting. Has a little bit of, who's that Rakdos sacrifice another creature guy? Grevin, is that the one? Has a little bit of that. Makes some mana rocks. Making mana rocks can be powerful. The pay 5, make a zombies, maybe not like the craziest thing ever, but late in the game, you never know. Yeah, sacrificing a creature to make a Power Stone can allow you to do some stuff. It's maybe a little bit roundabout, but it is a way to generate extra mana, and ways to generate extra mana, always good. So that's a Springbloom Druid for opponent, a card that I always forget about when I play green. Honestly, I just need to remember that that card exists. Ooh, did not catch that land. Well, I guess we play a Skull Clamp. We'll poke the Myrkul deck. We do have a little bit of a problem now that if we don't find lands soon, then we're going to be in some trouble. 2 behind the turn count is about as far behind as you can really get and still have any chance of trying to win. Oh god, let's go down his reach. Oh, I'm jealous about that. Boy, would I love to be able to cast one of those. 2 lands behind the turn count is not good, but I'd say that's about the furthest position you can be back and maybe turn things around. I've seen it happen. It's still a long uphill battle, and a lot of things need to go your way. But if you fall 3 behind, I don't know that I've really ever seen a win from 3 behind. And if it does happen, I mean, it's just going to be super rare, and everything needs to fall into place the right way for you to be able to get back in. Or you cast a Dockside Extortionist, which I don't know if we have one of those today. Do we? No Dockside Extortionist. So that's the type of card that, like, you can win a game with, like, 3 lands. There's enough artifacts and enchantments out there, so. Opponent's got a Callous Blood Mage. What are we doing here? We are going to draw a card and lose a life. Yeah, I'm jealous about that. Love to be doing that. There's a 1/1 over to Soulrai. And they're going to attack. Oh, yeah, and then they can just sacrifice this thing straight away. And that's what we're doing. We've got a Power Stone token. Make a colorless. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Yeah, opponents are all on, like, 4 to 5 mana now. Getting a little scary. Garruk's Uprising. I have a long history on gambling with hands like this and having it work out. Now, I would guess that's probably with my decks more so than, like, other people's decks, because I run a lot of mana ramp. And when you run a lot of mana ramp, even if you fall a little behind, it's still reasonable to catch up through the game. I also run a lot of board wipes. So, you know, somewhere in the middle of the game when things often get scary, I can, like, drop a Blasphemous Act. I mean, I never play, like, green necessarily, but, like, drop a Blasphemous Act and ramp at the same time and get caught up that way and kind of, you know, play that game. We didn't catch the land off the top, so I guess we're just going to Skull Clamp this thing straight away. Could attack first. Probably not really even worth it, honestly. So we're going to Skull Clamp this thing. It goes down. Thank God. There's some lands. Let's get the tap one in, because that makes sense. Mountain, yeah, more lands. All right, keep that right there. Keep on top. We need to discard 2 cards. Definitely the Anger. What's the second one gonna be? We have a Revel Arc. Revel Arc's good for a lot of things. This is easy to get back with the Revel Arc. I know it's like the next thing we probably play. Yeah, we'll just discard the Corpse Knight. I want to hold on to that Solemn Simulacrum just because I'd like to hardcast that when we get to 4. That will catch us up a little bit. So we're gonna be a little bit behind, but if we can force this game to go long enough, like our hand is just chock full of goodies. We've got this thing, which is more draw as long as it sticks. We have more draw here. We have 2 solid pieces of spot removal. We got recursion, we've got value, so, you know, it's a very calculated risk that we took here, but in general, I would say it hasn't really paid off, but there's still a chance that it could as the game rolls along here. Let's take a look at our opponent's commanders. Actually, we need to finish our commander. Our second commander is Bruse Tarl. 4 mana for a 3/3 that when it enters the battlefield or attacks, give a creature you control double strike and lifelink until end of turn. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do with this. It tends to make things very Voltron-y, and so with Sengir Vampire, or Sengir the Dark Baron rather, you could be fighting that one all game. There's a lot of muscle memory of me saying Sengir Vampire over the years. Not necessarily on camera, just in, you know, my pre-YouTube magic life. Used to run a lot of Sengir Vampire. Anyway, when a creature dies, put 2 counters on it. Yeah, it gets big quickly, so giving it double strike means you can one-shot people really easily. So that's cool. Unlicensed Hearst, yeah, opponents just are, gonna get crushed in terms of, like, mana and value here. Exile 2 cards from a single graveyard. Oh, that's not good. Power and toughness equal to the cards that are exiled with it. Ooh, yeah, okay. Anger's probably on the chopping block. I wasn't counting on graveyard removal here. That might just kind of be game for us. Unless, God, I would love to see a Vandal Blast or something. Not that we can even cast it, but if someone else were to lay one down and blow up the artifacts, that'd be a good thing. Rampant growth, yeah. We've got some holes to dig out of. Meg was at the point where they just cast Ghired and also all the just... That deck is... It's a ramp deck. It's just full of big dumb stuff that any single one of them can kill you or take over a game. It's gonna be a thing here. Triggers 2 card draw things, yep. Ooh, whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, we do 1 damage to a target. This sacrifices stuff. Do we need to hit this thing with a D-Spark? We might. Let's play the mountain, get the Mayhem Devil. And we'll pass like that. Next turn, almost definitely is going to be Land Solemn. We've got haste. I'm just going to leave this back as a blocker because Mango's going to do more than enough damage to just melt this table. That's how this deck works. Piloting Ghired, by the way. Mango's been playing this one for a long time. It's their favorite deck. 5 mana, 2/5. When it enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 green Rhino creature token with trample. When it attacks, populate. The populated token enters tapped and attacking. Yep. Gets real crazy with Helm of the Host. I mean, there's always kind of an army of 4/4s out there, which even just, you know, a couple of those is like hard to attack through for a lot of the game, and is the type of thing that's just like, it's accumulating value, right? It's just like constantly accumulating value. There's some wild stuff you can do with like Desolation Twin. Hate Mirage is really crazy in that deck. Copy just basically anything and then populate it. Taste of Karlov. That's a nasty one. Let's take a look at this Myrkul, Lord of Bones. I've heard people talk about this one, but I haven't really seen it very much. So that is Soulrai piloting it, and it's a 7 mana 7/5. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, it has indestructible. Oh god. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's an enchantment and loses all other card types. Weird. Ghired. Having not seen this one in action, I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm guessing some sort of aristocrat-y type thing, but there's gotta be combos with that, I imagine. I don't know. There's a Tormod, yeah. They exile... Oh, the rampant growth in the plains. Okay. Not hitting us just yet. I think our plan's gonna have to be something like Solemn this turn. Next turn, think about D-Spark on this thing, and then just like try to blink the Solemn or bring it back with Revelark and do all that kind of shenanigans with it. Everflowing Chalice kicked 5 times. Oh my god. Power Stones, what? Into an Armillary Sphere? Oh, Armillary Sphere would have been amazing. I mean, I guess we still needed a second land for many turns, but... Oh, they sacrifice it. We get to shoot a thing. I guess we're gonna shoot this 1/1. I know that we could shoot this, but Mango's deck's probably about to run us all over, so we probably shoot this next, but, you know, we'll give them an opportunity to, like, you know, not lose their commander immediately. On the other hand, they do have a lot of extra mana, so recasting it, oh god, a Soul Ring off the top would be amazing. Then we go Solemn, put the Skull Clamp on it. I'd be very happy to do that. That's Dracuseth. That is the big dumb creatures that I was referring to. We'll need to leave up the swords. We won't be able to do that if we cast Solemn, though, unless we catch something. Do we think anyone else has removal? Doesn't have haste, thankfully. I mean, this thing is just, like, almost certainly a removal check whenever you play it. I guess we could go Night's Whisper and leave up the swords if we really needed to. 2/5 coming our way, yep. Makes a Rhino. God, the Rhino triggers both the things. Mango's drawing a lot of cards. Where's the Rhino going? Into Flintlock. We'll block the 2/5 because it'll bounce. Infernal Grasp, also helpful. We seem to have a lot of removal now. Yeah, I guess we go Swamp, Night's Whisper, 2 more lands. Keep the lands a-coming. Okay, if we use this to shoot this, then they probably use that to exile that, which means they don't exile our stuff. And that, I like the sound of that. So I think we're just going to stay put like this. Would love to get that Solemn in, but just... we got things we got to deal with. Also love to get the Skull Clamp equipped. Mango plays Dracuseth a lot, and I've rarely seen them get an attack off with it, because it's just like, they play Dracuseth, usually me, but if not me, someone else at the table shoots it. Like, it almost never survives. And in a sense, it kind of can't, right? Like, you're gonna die very quickly, and you're not gonna have anything left in play if Dracuseth sticks. So, it is a removal check type card. Here comes Myrkul. Yep. We're gonna Infernal Grasp right now and shoot the Dracuseth, so that opponent exiles that and not our stuff. Single graveyard, right? We'll lose 2 life, but a trade I'm happy to make. Solid piece of removal. Unconditional black removal. At 2 mana, at instant speed. Most of it that's existed usually has some condition attached to it, either like non-black creatures, non-artifact creatures, or something like that. I love Victim of Night, although, you know, those tribes do show up in Commander with some frequency, so it's not perfect, but I'd say like 70-80% of the time it's gonna be, you're not gonna run into any problems with Victim of Night. I just always like that card, though. I would like first, second, and third pick that thing in draft like crazy. I think I have a foil one somewhere. Why are they going for our stuff? We just shot a Dracuseth. I guess, oh, maybe they figured they can do it on their turn. But then they can't attack with it, though. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I guess they're just assuming that, like, we're the graveyard deck, and stuff's gonna come back. But please exile the Dracuseth. That's a Gakusho. Yep, also pretty good. Coffin Queen. Ooh. That's a Magic card. I didn't even know this was on Magic Online. Well, that's cool. I have to throw this back in my Tap Creature Tribal deck. I have a paper copy somewhere, but... it is a strange card, but a cool card. I remember even back in the day reading this thing and playing this thing, and just like, this is a very interesting card. Still kind of is. Esper Sentinel? Yep. Yeah, we're getting into the territory where a board wipe wouldn't be the worst thing I've ever heard of. Turn 7 already. We're on 4 lands. Yep. Probably should have mulliganed that hand, but Sylvan Library. I should have read the room and realized that there's 2 green decks at the table, so it's just going to be Cultivate and Ramp spells galore. Yep, there's another one. Speak of the Devil. Although Mango taking the value turn is not the worst thing ever. I was going to be not thrilled if they just slammed another big threat that had to be answered. I think we're on the hook to take some damage here, though. Cycles the land. So, seems like they're trying to get more set up for next turn. I mean, they've been drawing a bunch of cards already. It's hard to imagine they ran out of stuff, but maybe their plan's the Coffin Queen, the Dracuseth. Another land. Lands are good. Can't get it in on tap, sadly. But let's play the Plains, play the Solemn. Interestingly, Mango went no attacks. We're the only place that really had like a great attack, but use the Solemn ability. How's our red? Not the best. We have a lot of black and a lot of white. Let's get a red. Equip the Skull Clamp. There's a good number of signets in this deck. We have not run into any. Skull Clamp for opponent, into the Esper Sentinel. They should probably be paying right here. They have like a lot of extra mana. They pay. Ooh, so if I understand this right, with this in play, you make 2 enchantments of all your stuff? That seems pretty good. Equips it to the Teysa, yep. So then if you shoot this, they get 2 enchantments. Oh my god, with that ability? God, that's insane. I think this spits out a bunch of things too. Ugh. goes for... Oh, man, more of our stuff hits the anger. I mean, we're definitely gonna have to exile this thing. It's never gonna, like, be able to do anything. Probably use this to get the Dracuseth. Deck needs a black market. That would make so much mana. I guess there's this one. Still, just always black market. Black market's an insane Magic card. Wow, passes and leaves up all their mana? They're down to 3 cards, but, like, is this instant speed? Yeah, that's instant speed. Doesn't have the sorcery speed clause on it. Which makes more graveyard interaction, which is, like, honestly terrible for what our deck is doing. Growing Rights of Itlamok. Mango will soon have all the mana. Rishkar's Expertise. That's only 4. As far as Rishkar's goes, that's not crazy, but I guess they were already at... Ooh, the Rionia that's following it, though, is kind of a thing. Yeah, Mango has very serious value happening. There's a Rionia, 3 visits. Oof. They don't... I mean, I guess they could just copy a token. That's a lot of damage. Boduca Gardener. Nice. Rionia. Targeting Ghired. That seems... They're legendary, right? Seems counterproductive. Oh, it's going to spit out a bunch of rhinos, right? Okay. So there's going to be a disgusting amount of rhinos on the board now. More card draw. Yep. Thinking Arch Enemy has developed. That's interesting. Should those tokens being sacrificed have caused this to trigger? Because 2 damage would be very nice. Growing Rights, flips, and Rionia. Oh my god, Mango's got 13 cards. We need a board wipe. Board wipe would buy us nice time. This is a problem, though. Unburial Rights is not really what I was looking for. Now what? Commander? Yeah, I guess it's Baron. Play the Plains. Play Baron Sengir. That way, if it's like not a board wipe and it's just a lot of spot removal or something, we might have a big commander. Who knows? Pass like that. Find out who brought removal. Temple. Equips the Skull Clamp. Ashnod's Altar. Oh, well, this should get interesting now. So they'll sacrifice this and get 2 of these. That'll give us 1 damage to ping something with. Esper Sentinel is the obvious target. If it looks like they'll have more things to sacrifice, we'd probably start working on Rionia. The Gardener is a 2/1. Also reasonable to shoot. Yep, they sacrifice a thing. Wow, Myrkul and Skull Clamp trigger twice because of Teysa. Yep. We get 1 damage to a target. Sengir is also going to get bigger. Start by shooting the Esper Sentinel. Opponent's going to... Ooh, they're going to exile those from the graveyard with the thing on the stack, which I think prevents the Myrkul ability. Ooh, that's spicy. That is spicy, which, I mean, it probably needs to happen, because then they'd be spitting out a bunch of tokens with all the exiling. Which somehow makes... Oh, the Esper Sentinel goes down, makes Baron Sengir bigger again. Love it. Love it. I think that puts us out of Dracuseth range. That's cool. Yeah, the Myrkul ability was denied. That's a big pickup with the hearse here. I gotta run this card more. It's a nice piece of graveyard removal. Been trying to run Lion Sash more too. That one's a little mana intense, but still cool. It's great for Voltron decks where it's just like, oh, make your thing bigger. Exile their stuff. Beautiful. That's a Mazarek. Oh my. If you're doing sacrifice stuff, that's a really good card. Do they sacrifice these things now? No. Here comes the Coffin Queen. Getting the Dracuseth. Yep, Coffin Queen's good like that. And if something happens, it's going to exile it, so can't complain about that. See what they want to do with this Dracuseth. Oh, it's equal to the number of cards exiled with it, not the power of the creature you exile with it. That's still getting pretty good, though. I got, what, like 8 cards under there or something? Maybe 10? Yep, Dracuseth into Mango. I imagine one of them's got to be at this Rionia. Curious to see where they send the other damage triggers. Rionia, the Gardener, and our Mayhem Devil. I can live with our Mayhem Devil going down. It was nice, though. Yeah, that's 3 triggers for Sengir the Dark Baron. Anyone without flying blocking is going to be in for a world of hurt, which at this point just appears to be Mango. Mazarek is unfortunately in our way. And we've now reached the territory where Double Strike is 1-shot lethal on a player. Sylvan Library. Well, I guess the big thing is, what does Mango have in hand? Because they are medium threatening with the amount of 4/4s out here right now, but like one big play from their hand could make them very threatening. Like a Dragon Lord Dromoka. It's going to turn off our swords, which I'm not thrilled about. And that means that we are in a world of hurt for whatever the follow-up play is about to be. Mango still drawing like crazy. That is a flying blocker for Mango, too, actually. So now everyone has a flying blocker, which means if we want to get in with the Sengir, we're going to have to use a piece of removal. Oh, that's the Fervor. Okay. I guess, I mean, this is probably more of a blocker than anything at this point. That's a Tristani. Oh, yeah. That's going to gain life like crazy. And there's the Reach blocker. Now I have 2 blockers, gaining all the life. I'd prefer not to burn 2 pieces of spot removal to get rid of both of those blockers, but honestly, that may have to happen. There's too many enchantments out there. Mango's like too well set up. Triple card draw, haste, and insane amounts of mana. You're just not going to beat that over the long run. Farseek. See what Mango's doing for attacks. They tapped one of the flying blockers. That'd be fantastic. Big old attack into Flintlock. Notably can't cast spells with the tapping the Dramoka. Love it. Mango's tapped out too. There's a lot of damage though. As far as I can tell, I don't think this is gonna kill Flintlock. It's gonna hurt real bad though. Gaining more life. If we can get the one shot on Mango, we're gonna gain so much life with that whenever a player loses the game ability. Mango's life is climbing. We're probably gonna have to swords the Uvenwald Hydra, which will be even more. We're gonna have double strike and lifelink on this thing when we hit, and that's gonna be a lot of life. Blocks of the 1/1, blocks of the 5/5. Hakusho will go down. Bunch more triggers. Flintlock's down to 9. I don't think we're gonna have 9 damage on our turn, but not down to 9? I got confused. I don't know what I just saw. Oh, right, the Kakusho. Yeah. Kakusho gained them much life. Back to 24. We definitely don't have 24. Not if we're trying to kill Mango. Mango is tapped out. Yeah, this is gonna be the time. Ooh. Viscera Seer is handy. Let's cast Bruse Tarl. Lifelink and double strike the Sengir. Play the Viscera Seer. Swords the Hydra. Play this land. Go to combat. Mango says, here comes the fun part. Yep, in with the Sengir Baron. Baron Sengir? What did I just say? Sengir the Dark Baron. We're at 31 life. We're gonna gain a lot. And we're also as big as we can be before we would only get a single hit, which is also cool, upping the amount of life that we're going to gain. Because if they died on the first hit, you wouldn't get the double strike hit. Although Magic Online's a little weird about that. It doesn't always, sometimes you do get it when you're not supposed to. 20 commander damage, 40 commander damage, Sengir trigger, a player has lost the game, Mango is out, and we're going to gain a ton of life. 114! Nice. We fear no aggro. Also, the Dracuseth gets exiled, which is nice too. And there isn't really a lot of interesting stuff in the graveyard. This is Corpse Knight, which is okay. So now we've got an interesting little game because we're a graveyard deck and Myrkul is a graveyard deck. And this thing hoses both of us, but they can only do one player at a time. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to go. Like, I've thought about shooting this a lot through this game. But the fact that it's going to keep Myrkul in check is kind of a big deal. And I don't know that we'll be able to do that on our own necessarily. So I think, no one's going to have any creatures is what this is going to say. We don't have any choices. We're just going to get wrecked here is what's going to happen. Let's see how they stack this, because this has a potential to get kind of wild. Suture Priest, also a good card. Card I've been trying to run more. It's been sneaking its way into some decks here and there. It is above the curve for a 2-mana white card. The cat and mouse game here is gonna be really interesting. What does it say? You control. Okay. It's actually been a while since I've seen a Butcher of Malakir. Still see Dictates and Grave Packs and stuff, but Butcher not showing up as much as it used to. People kind of balking at the 7 mana. Also, I mean, it's a creature, so a lot more creature removal. Just, it dies to a lot of things, but it's still good. It's one of those things that can just, like, take over a game, really reshape the game around itself. See what Flintlock's got. Erebos Intervention. Target creature gets -X. Okay. They're just gonna blast this Butcher of Malakir. Do we care? I don't think we do. Obviously, leaving our Baron in play is probably going to be the most important thing if we don't end up having to sacrifice every single thing, though I fear that we might, because this is already going to be 2. Yep. Double Butcher. And then, I mean, you almost have to use this on the Butcher because that's double Grave Pact. No one's going to have any creatures ever again. Yeah, they're going to exile the Butcher. So that saves us from a trigger, which is nice. That saves double Grave Pact from being a thing. I am fully in support of that. Denying the Myrkul ability once again. Unlicensed Hearst. MVP this game. This deck would be doing some stuff if it weren't for this. Also, it's keeping us in check too, because like I probably would have Revel Arced much sooner. We've lost haste, which is a pretty big deal, especially like with Bruse. We got a sack 2. Definitely the Solemn. Ooh, Coffin Queen goes down. We're gonna draw some cards. Sengir will continue to get bigger. Use the ability. Abhorrent Overlord is a magic card. More flying, more bodies is always good. Skull Clamp. Wheel of Fortune and Chain Reaction. That's interesting. Ooh, Mazarek. Mazarek gonna make this spicy, because now everything's gonna be giant. We need to sacrifice another. I think I'm going the Viscera Seer. The other two are just, these win you the game. Viscera Seer is nice, but it seems the most expendable in this moment. For us, recasting our commander with our mana is not where we want to be. This is all end step, by the way. So Flintlock doing some things here at the end step. Little light on cards for their turn. 2 in hand. Ooh, yeah, that team got big over there. We are in a place where we could go despark this thing. 4 or greater, right? Despark this thing and then just whack our way in there again. Unstable Obelisk is interesting. They do have the mana to shoot something as needed. Recast the commander. 1 card in hand. Suture Priest. Morbid Opportunist. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, draw a card only once each turn. Okay, might hold off on that just 1 second. Let's go to combat. This one into Soul Rai, and this one into Flintlock. Double strike and lifelink the Sengir. Despark this thing. I assume that they'll sacrifice it in response. The question is whether the hearse will prevent it from doing stuff. Ooh, they're gonna Infernal Grasp our creature. I meant to put the Skull Clamp on there. Is the thing that I meant to do. That's not great. Sengir goes down. Thinking about hitting it with the Unburial Rites. Honestly. 2 opponent sacrifices. Yeah, they sacrifice. They should get the hearse activation out of the way. Yep, perfect. Everything going according to plan. Well, maybe not according to plan, but the plan was to kill them right there. But we denied the Mazarek. That's another really powerful effect with Myrkul. Wow. I'm surprised. If this weren't here, they would just be running us over, especially after the Grave Pact. Here's a real question. Do we just Chain Reaction? No, Chain Reaction's not big enough to kill everything now. The other thing we could do, we might Revel Arc. Revel Arc, get back Solemn and Corpse Knight. Because if our commander gets exiled, well, no, it's still a lot of mana loss. It's a lot of denial of value. Flintlock's going to go ahead and shoot the Sack Outlet. That's a fantastic idea. Nothing good ever comes from leaving these in play. I support that decision 100%. Flintlock takes poke for 3. We're going to get our commander back with the Unburial Rites. I really did mean to put the Skull Clamp on there. Those 2 cards could be big. Suture Priest's gonna get us. It's okay, we've got some life to work with. Commander damage is probably our bigger concern. Or just like board control. Get everything like sacked to death. Then we shall Skull Clamp our commander. And that's the turn. Didn't get done what we were hoping to, but all things considered, it could have been worse. So I feel okay about where we are. Soul Rai lost some pieces. They lost that Sack Outlet, which is big. We got Mazarek out of the way. We don't have that as an enchantment effect in play, which is good. Unfortunately, the hearse is tapped out right now. So right now they could just like sack both of the... No, the Sack Outlet's gone. They can't do that. Nice. So that was actually great timing. They could have forced the issue, and they could have sacrificed these at that moment. Eidolon of Blossoms. Ooh, that seems really good. Suture Priest, yep. If I were them, I might have sacked this stuff to get these as enchantment effects, because like everyone's shown there's just no enchantment removal this game. Like enchantments are just staying on the battlefield. Really kind of been pretty little removal overall. Couple pieces of spot removal from us, maybe 1 or 2 from opponents. No board wipes, not really enchantment removal. Despark maybe, but it's about it. That's an Audacious Thief. That one doesn't seem as good as an enchantment. Maybe it's just like straight card draw. But Skull Clamp on it, why not? They've got all their creatures laid out there. I imagine we're on the chopping block for a little bit of damage here. Or do you just try to get Flintlock out of the game, because this is just like destroying them. 8 creatures on the battlefield currently for Chain Reaction. If Flintlock were able to drop a couple more, wouldn't be the worst thing I've seen. We're actually leading our opponents on value a little bit. It's kind of easy to forget that, because Mango had so much value that they were just running away. They were like into the 50s in their library when they went down. We're still at 73, which is a few cards ahead of our opponents. And even like 2 or 3 cards can be a really big deal in this game. Attacks with the Suture Priest. Light Poke. I would probably send this our way, because their chance of killing us is commander damage. And, you know, I'd probably take that first hit and then just, you know, try to crack back in the air. But, you know, they might have plans that they can interact with that. Opponent's going to make a 3/3 zombie. Sure, why not? There you go. You make some blockers late in the game when someone's trying to attack you. Trying to preserve that life total a bit. Importantly, that's a creature that'll die. Make this thing a little bit bigger. They're going to throw their commander in front. That's interesting. Oh, it has Death Touch. Okay, that will kill the Suture Priest. I don't know if I'm thrilled about 2 enchantment copies of Suture Priest, though. The hearse is tapped. Sengir triggers. Twice? Oh, both creatures died, yeah. Okay. Put us up to 9 power. Not one-shot lethal yet, but not that far away either. Yeah, when you have that much mana trading your commander, would they pay, I think, 3 for that cast, so they'll be on 5 now. That's not bad to, like, trade in, especially if you have nothing else going on. Decent mana production. They do have this thing, which is going to be pretty large if they start attacking with it. No flying blocking. We can figure out how to get... this is how you get one thing dead. The problem is, I don't feel great about Revel Arc and then getting hit by this hearse, but might be what we need to do. Or we could Chain React. 7 creatures? Commander Sphere. Make a mana, crack the Commander Sphere. Oversold Cemetery. Solid card. You need, what, 4 cards in your graveyard, though? 4 more creatures. Ooh, they're 1 short. You send your commander to the graveyard. Recast the commander. Yeah, once this is active, though, this is like a... This will beat you. Suture Priest. They have to worry about the Suture Priest enchantment, though. There's 2 of them, right? I'm actually not sure how there isn't 2 of them. I figure there would be because of the... Oh, it's because that triggers... Because you have to exile it to do it. Okay. So it's only single copies. I think I've been misunderstanding that through the game. But if you get this one sacrificed, then... That's when things will get really crazy. Cathar Commando does a lot of nice things. We can Cathar Commando, shoot that. That'll get the creature we need. We attack with both of these. I think we can kill Soul Rai. And then we can also shoot this thing, which has been messing up both of our lives pretty badly. I'm going to play the Morbid Opportunist, Such Priest. Let's try it again. Send this one into Soul Rai, this one into Flintlock. Double Strike and Lifelink on the Baron Sengir. Wait till after blocks are chosen. They're going to block our Bruse Tarl, yep. And then after blocks, we're going to flash in this Cathar Commando, which I'm sure no one's expecting us to do. Such Priest. Then shoot the hearse that's been bugging us all game, but also keeping the Myrkul in check, which I guess is very important, because, as I mentioned, I don't think we had answers for the Myrkul deck. We get to draw a card. Baron Sengir will get bigger. Yep, they're going to exile two things, being the Unburial Rites and the Commando. Yep. They're probably going the Commando because they know that need that oversold cemetery to start doing stuff. Also, they can't see the Revelark in our hand. Tell an opponent trying to claw back in, they're like, oh, you might have it. We're in a very good spot against Flintlock. If Soul Rai can't pull out something wacky here to prevent death, Flintlock's in a terrible spot. We catch a land. We'll want to play that land. I think it has to be said that Flintlock doing the Lord's work this game. One, keeping the Myrkul deck in check with the Graveyard Exile. They took the big punch from Mango so that no one else had to. They also kept Mango in check with the Dracuseth, bought us a little bit of time, and reduced the amount of value that Mango had. Yeah, Flintlock been doing a lot of good things and not getting to reap the benefits of it, which from their position, that's got to be really frustrating. So my hat's off to Flintlock for how this game's probably going to end up. Anyway, we got some Sengir the Dark Baron triggers. A little bit of removal would go a long way. It's not like the difference here isn't insurmountable. We have a lot of life, which will take them a while to chew through, but if they have a lot more mana than us, so they can theoretically establish board position better than us. Like if they shoot our commander one time, that's a big problem for us. We'll basically spend an entire turn just tapping out trying to cast it, and that'll buy them a lot of time to get some things done. Scry Temple, Relic of Legends. It's a piece of mana ramp, so I'm gonna keep it on top. We haven't really ramped this game. That's kind of the weakness in our plan right now. So, but yeah, Flintlock been highly interactive, been keeping the important stuff off the. Oop, that's a Deadly Relic. Okay, yeah, Deadly Relic could get them right back into this. So really saving this for the last minute. I'm gonna applaud that use of Deadly Relic. Yeah, Flintlock playing a good game over there, and their life total. But like I said, their life total does not indicate the how well they've been playing this game and the important plays they've made. Did they send their command to the graveyard? They did. Ballsy play. Love it. Flintlock came to play. I love it. I'm loving this. They're gonna get back that Kakusho. Yeah, that's a great little card. That is both a flying blocker against our commander, and it's gonna help with the life imbalance a lot. Kakusho, back to play. 3/3 coming in. Yep, we're at 165 after the last trigger there. We've gotten 2 player kill triggers. That's actually much better than I could have hoped. 1 in general, and 2 with the way that our opening was. Like, you're worried that you're gonna do nothing the entire game with an opening like that. The gamble really didn't pay off. Like, I know things have kind of shaped up for us, but it really didn't pay off. Like, we didn't catch the lands when we needed to. I mean, we've clawed back in, we've done what we can, and we have killed 2 players, which is certainly cool. But mulliganing that hand would have certainly been a better choice, and I feel pretty good that like whatever else would have happened after the mulligan is probably a more conservative and a more sound line of play. But anyway, here we are. We've got this Relic of Legends. What do we need to do? I think I'm just going to cast Revelark as a creature and not evoke it. I think I like that play. It's a nice little blocker against the Kakusho. We'll make them think about some stuff. Hopefully they don't run into more graveyard exile. Oh, you know what's interesting? If we put the Skull Clamp on the Revelark, it'll trade with the Kakusho, but then they can get the Kakusho back, get into the life race thing here. Equip that, play the Relic of Legends. Haven't actually played this one yet. What's this out of? Dominaria? Is that what that is? Too many sets. I cannot keep the symbol straight anymore. They all just blend together. So we've got a deterring blocker for the Kakusho, and they're at 18, so like tough spot for them where like, do you block with Kakusho knowing that you can get it back, knowing that we'll get things back with the Revelark? Land drop is not what they wanted right there. That hurts. Yeah, I mean, I think you're stuck defensive right here, which this is going to buy us time to start doing stuff. 3/3 coming in. You know, I'm going to trade that Revelark in for that. That's a lot of value right here, because this is 2 more cards, the Solemn and the Viscera Seer, and that's just a lot of really good stuff. It's actually 3 more cards when that triggers. Yeah, I mean, I almost have to wonder if I'm in their spot. I don't attack right there, and I think when we attack with Revelark, probably just take it. Although Bruse Tarl coming back is maybe a concern, but I guess they would have time to see that. Solemn Simulacrum and Viscera Seer, get those back. Our value engine is now going. Been sitting on that Revelark all game. It's turn 12, finally getting the window of opportunity to use it. So so us showing some patience with the Revelark, not getting it caught up into the hearse land is okay. Yeah, this is the point where we can catch up on lands too. We've got time. We've got a lot of time on our side with the 162 life. Ooh, a Dread Return. We can get real silly with that. Solemn. Usability. Let's get a swamp. Value Machine has been assembled. A Signet finally showing up. Play the land. Play the Signet. I think we get our commander back. Put the Skull Clamp on the thingy. What does this one say again? Tap an untap legendary you control. Add 1 mana of any color. Oh yeah. It's like Honor Worn Shaku number 2. Gotta use this more. Sacrifice creature. It's gonna be that Solemn. So we can draw 3 more cards. Pump up our Sengir. All seems good. And by 3 more cards, I mean 4 more cards. 1 off the Solemn, 2 off the Skull Clamp, 1 off the Morbid Opportunist. Cruel Celebrant, which we can actually cast. And I might just because we have a lot of cards in hand. Use the ability. Zulapor Cutthroat. That's a magic card. Lands to the bottom. We've already played a land. We'll play the Cruel Celebrant. And we shall pass like that. No great attacks right here. Flintlock would ideally want something like card draw spell into board wipe plus something to reestablish to kind of get ahead. We're gonna discard the tap land. Tap land is not where we need to be in this moment. Draws a card, appears to have nothing going on still. Sending in the Kakusho, I mean, I guess we block. I think they're just trying to get it back into the grave and trigger the thing and do the stuff. The issue they're really running into right now is card draw. They just haven't drawn cards this game. Ooh, Dictative Erebos, okay. Was not expecting that. Okay. Flintlock still got some fight left. It's not gonna do much for our commander though. Kakusho dies, thing gets bigger. Opportunist will trigger. We have a backup of this with the Zulaport Cutthroat, so I think we get rid of the Cruel Celebrant just to keep the sack outlet, which will trigger the Celebrant and the Sengir. We draw another card. We're at 158. They're up to 22, but yeah, now we can just kill them. Austere Command. Cast Bruse Tarl. This won't be commander lethal, but we can just send all these in and it should be. Send them. Down Flintlock goes. We just killed 3 players with Sengir the Dark Baron. That's not how I expected this game to go, to be completely honest with you. Taking a look at the deck. Obviously, we kept a really bad hand at the beginning and probably just should have mulliganed that and we would have had a more representative look at the deck. I would add a black market in here because that card's insane. Other than that, though, everything else in here looks pretty good. There's no Dockside. I mean, mixed feelings on Dockside. Actually considering banning Dockside on the channel just because it's so, cast Dockside, I win the game because I have 30 mana now. And usually when you see it 2 or 3 times in a turn. So, anyway, the point is, maybe some sort of, catch-up mana ramp. It doesn't need to be Dockside per se. I've been messing around with Ironcrag Feet. This is a 3-color deck. Might be a little awkward for that, but Mana Geyser is always really good. I've been kind of playing around with more of the ritual stuff. Maybe even just a dark ritual. It's always solid. Just to, give yourself some ability to catch up and do stuff and kind of, again, we could have prevented a lot of problems by just mulliganing, but there are going to be those situations where you're just behind on lands and whatever, and just a little bit of extra mana can go a long way to kind of get you into a game. So, but other than that, I thought it played really well. It's a cool concept that, you have the aristocrats piece, which we didn't get to see so much, especially because of the graveyard exile and just our bad hand. But then if that doesn't work, then you just have this Voltron thing and you just boot people over the head with a giant Sengir and then they die and you gain a ton of life and then you gain even more life and that's all pretty crazy. So that was really cool, but I do have to shout out Flintlock again. I thought Flintlock played a great game and just did not walk away with much to show for it. It was the card draw. They needed to draw more cards. If they could have picked up, I don't know, maybe 5 extra cards in that game, I imagine that they probably find a way to overtake us or at least battle it out for a long time. Yeah, I have to shout out what I think was a very good performance out of them. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel, vote on which decks I play next, or if you want to get some good games of Spell Table, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below.